Hello everyone, my name is Shyam Manavat and I welcome all of you in the new lecture that is Maxima Minima. It's part of algebra and here we will understand what is the maximum value of the function at which point or at which for which value of x, for which value of independent variable. So let's understand what is maxima minima. Okay, so maxima or minima, this is part of maxima or minima. This is part of domain. Okay. Domain. Here I'm referring to the concept functions. In functions, we have discussed what is the range in domain. So I'm referring to this. I hope you have gone through the function lecture before coming to this lecture. If not, then please understand functions well. That will help you to understand maxima minima even better. Okay. और you should also go through graphs. अगर ग्राफ नहीं किया तो ग्राफ भी आपको go through करना चाहिए. That will also help you to understand maxima minima better. Maxima minima, as I said, that is domain, and maximum or minimum, that is range. This is part of range. और अच्छे से समझते हैं. So let's split this maxima and maximum. Let's say maxima and maximum. Okay. Maxima means value of x. Value of x. Okay. For which, for which, for which the given function shows maximum value. Maximum value. Okay. And maximum is what? The maximum value of f of x. This maximum value is what is what? Maximum value of the function. Maximum value of the function. Okay, so it is all dependent on the function. When is it go? At what point it's going to show maximum value? People misunderstand. Misunderstand maxima to maximum value of x. Not like that. It cannot be. Understand? It cannot be because x is independent variable. It can take any value. So if it has to take maximum value, then it can take any up to plus infinite. Correct. So maxima is any at the value of x at which the function shows maximum value. Okay. We'll understand with the example. फिलहाल आप इतना समझो. Any value of x for which the function shows maximum value. It cannot have more than that. The function cannot have value more than that. Okay, that is maxima. Similarly, minima is what? Minima. Now you can tell me what is minima. Minima is what? Value of, again, value of x for which the given function, same thing, the given function shows or it has minimum value. Minimum value. That means function cannot go lesser than that. The value of the function cannot go lesser than that. And minimum is what? Value of function. Minimum is simply minimum value of the function. Minimum value of the given function. Clear है ये? Clear है? Yeah. So minima is value of x. Maxima is value of x. And value of x in terms of function is nothing but domain. And maximum is value of the function. minimum is value of the function, and value of function is always part of range, right? Clear? Clear? Okay. In other word, you can say whatever whatever range the function can have, whatever range the function can have, उस सेट में से फ्रॉम दैट सेट ऑफ रेंज जो भी मैक्सिमम वैल्यू है, जो उस रेंज की मैक्सिमम वैल्यू है, दैट इज कॉल्ड मैक्सिमम. ओके, और जो मिनिमम वैल्यू है दैट इज कॉल्ड मिनिमम. ओके, ये कॉन्सेप्ट बहुत क्लियर होना चाहिए. दिस कॉन्सेप्ट शुड बी क्लियर टू ऑल ऑफ यू. Minima and maxima is the part of domain. It's their value of x, and maximum or minimum is value of function. Clear? Let's take example. So here we have quadratic function. So in today's lecture, we will discuss quadratic function ka minima or maxima. Yes, you can note this topic as well. I hope you are using pen paper and making your own handwritten notes. So, in today's discussion, what are we going to have? What are we going to discuss in today's lecture? We will discuss maxima or maximum, minima, and minimum of quadratic function. Okay. So, maxima, minima of quadratic function. लिख लो ऐसा, quadratic function. All right. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. So now again, I'm assuming that you have gone through previous lectures. हम लोगों ने quadratic equation पूरा डिस्कस किया है. हमने ग्राफ में भी क्वाड्रेटिक इक्वेशन का ग्राफ पूरा डिस्कस किया है. सो आई विल डायरेक्टली जंप टू द सॉल्यूशन. आई विल नॉट रिपीट दैट पार्ट. ओके, आई एम अज्यूमिंग दैट यू हैव गॉन थ्रू ग्राफ का क्वाड्रेटिक ग्राफ. ये हमने डिस्कस किया है. क्वाड्रेटिक ग्राफ देखो, ये डिस्कस किया है हम लोगों ने. क्वाड्रेटिक ग्राफ डिस्कस किया है. एंड इन क्वाड्रेटिक इक्वेशन ऑल्सो वी हैव डिस्कस्ड ग्राफ. यहाँ पे भी हमने ग्राफ प्लॉट करना सीखा है. In lecture number, which one? Lecture number 6 of quadratic, and in graph, lecture number 7. Okay. Assuming that you have gone through both of them, I will directly jump to the solution, how to simplify instead of getting into details of this. So I hope you remember that quadratic function always show parabola. Parabola could be upward. Parabola could be upward or downwards, depending on what? Come on, depending on what? Depending on the sign of coefficient of x square. If you compare the function with general form of quadratic equation, which is ax square plus bx plus c, then if this is upward when a is positive, okay, and this is downward when a is negative. Okay, that's how it works. Okay, so in given examples, so example number 1, I have the function here and the coefficient of x square is positive. So definitely it's going to be upward. So after the point, it shows parabola. Parabola has vertex after vertex, the parabola change the direction, right? वो ऐसा यहाँ से जाके ये parabola इस vertex के बाद it change the direction, right? So if A is positive, the function is supposed to show what? Minima. Minima, because it will have minimum value. इसमें कुछ confusion तो नहीं है? It will have minimum value because see, maximum will not be defined. Think about it. Think about it. If the graph is this way, if the graph is this way, it will go upward till up to infinite. It will go upward up to infinite, right? So maximum value not possible. Maximum is not possible. On y-axis, if you see, it will keep increasing on y-axis, right? Correct. But after one point, it is turning from that minimum point. So in such case, minimum is possible. Minimum is possible. Minimum is possible. Okay. Minimum means the value of y, because I hope we have, you remember that you say f of x or you say y, both are dependent variable, dependent on x. So y We say y or we say f of x is one of the same thing. So y axis pe it will not have maximum value. Maximum up to it will go up to infinite, but it will have minimum value because after that vertex it's again increasing. Okay, it come decreasing, decreasing, and then after this vertex, it again go increasing, right? So it will have minimum value. So कैसे identify करोगे आप? If you have quadratic function, let's discuss this again. If you have quadratic function, this is the function given here. F of x is equal to 2x square plus sorry, minus 8x plus 15. First of all, so question said find minimum or maximum. Find minimum or maximum. So you will say, sir, here this function will show minimum. Why it will show minimum? Because here a is positive. Here a is positive. This is quadratic function. A is positive. It is supposed to show parabola, and parabola will be upward because a is positive. So iska minimum point possible hai. So this function will show what? Minimum. It will have minimum. And minimum will be at what point? At what value of x? At minima of x. Okay. So minimum के लिए क्या होगा? Minima. Clear? Clear है यहाँ तक? Now, if you remember, we have while plotting the graph, we understood that at what is the coordinate of the vertex. If you remember, we have discussed about vertex. ये क्या होगा आपका? Vertex. This is what? Vertex. This is what? Vertex. So vertex पे x. Vertex पे x. You please try to connect the dots. Vertex पे x is nothing but minima, and we know how to calculate x, the value of x coordinate of vertex. कैसे calculate करते हैं? That is minus b upon 2a. प्लीज डोंट बी सरप्राइज गाइस, ये हम लोगों ने डिस्कस किया है। अगर मैं इसको फिर से डिस्कस करने जाऊंगा ये लेक्चर बहुत बड़ा हो जाएगा। Okay, so you make sure that you go through the graph and then quadratic equation, you're coming from those learning and then reaching here. So minima हो या maxima हो, minima हो या maximum हो, vertex का value is minus b upon 2a. Okay, in case of quadratic function, remember in case of quadratic function, लिख लो इसको, quadratic function f of x is equal to x ax square plus bx plus c. For that, the vertex coordinate for vertex x coordinate is minus b upon 2a. X coordinate is minus b upon 2a, whether vertex is down at minima or vertex is upward at maxima, ये वैल्यू वर्टेक्स का चेंज नहीं होगा, ये कोऑर्डिनेट वर्टेक्स का चेंज नहीं होगा। ओके, क्लियर है यहाँ तक? या नाउ यहाँ तक क्लियर ना? कनेक्ट डॉट्स। मिनिमा हो या मैक्सिमा हो, आपका वर्टेक्स के लिए कोऑर्डिनेट विल बी डिफाइंड बाय minus b upon 2a. Correct? In this particular question, it will be minima because that's the characteristics of the graph for this particular quadratic function. ऐसा क्यों है? Because यहाँ पे a पॉजिटिव है, ये तीन डॉट्स कनेक्ट किया। ओके, सो मिनिमा क्या होगा? डेफिनेटली द वर्टेक्स coordinate of x of that vertex, and coordinate of x of that vertex for parabola is always defined by minus b upon 2a. So minus b upon 2a, minus b क्या है यहाँ पे? Okay, if you compare the general form of quadratic function with given quadratic function, you can say b is nothing but minus 8 here. Okay, so it will be minus of minus 8 minus b by 2a. 2a is what? A is 2 here, so 2. So what do you get here? Plus 8 by 4, which is nothing but 2. Okay, so this you will say the value of x, which is 2 here, which is also x coordinate of vertex, okay, of parabola. Yeah, it's also x coordinate of vertex for the parabola. Okay, and because the graph characteristics here is it will have minimum value, so this is also the vertex is also minima here. Yeah, I am still going slow because I'm explaining you this thing. So I'm still going slow, but I hope this is fine. And you also have to understand we are building the concept, we are building the foundation. So we are supposed to go slow. हम लोग जब फाउंडेशन बिल्ड कर लेंगे आई गो फास्ट. ये आपका क्वेश्चन का आंसर लिखना ये हार्डली 2 steps लगेंगे यहाँ पे. सो आई एम एक्सप्लेनिंग ऑल दिस थिंग जस्ट टू मेक यू सॉल्व दिस क्वेश्चन इन 2 steps. तो पहली बात समझ में आई, मैक्सिमा मिनिमा. So here we got x equal to 2, which is minimum. Now, if I want to find out minimum, so what is minimum? What is minimum? Minimum is minimum is value of f of x at minima, right? So minimum, if you want to find out, so that you will say minimum here is nothing but f of 2. Now, if you substitute 2 in the given in this given function, you will have 2 into 2 square, which is 8 minus 8 into 2 plus 15. Okay, simplify this further. What you have here? This is 16. So minus 16 plus 15 is -1. 8 minus 1 is how much? 7. So what is the value of f of 2? That is 7. So what is the minimum value for the function? Minimum value for the function is 7. Yeah. आंसर क्या लिखोगे आप यहाँ पे? आंसर कैसे लिखोगे? फिर से रिपीट करता हूँ, आंसर कैसे लिखोगे? Minima is the value of x for which function shows minimum. Okay. This maxima or minima, this particular chapter has no formula or no particular way to solve all the questions of maxima minima, because it depends on what type of equation you are solving. Are you solving quadratic? Are you solving linear? Are you solving the cubical equation? Or you have, say, a maxima minima function given to you, or you have some product and arithmetic mean, geometric mean concept. So it depends. So whenever you have question of maxima minima, you cannot define that into a particular way of solving. You need to identify what type of question it is, what type of equation it is, and then accordingly act. So far we are in this particular lecture, we are focusing on finding maxima minima for quadratic functions. Clear? Okay. So minima is x is equal to 2 and minimum is what? 7. This is your answer. Clear? Okay, let's talk about this question. G of x, again, we need to find out minima or maxima depending on the characteristics of the equation. So question is not, I'm not telling you that this will show minima or maxima. You need to identify first. So पहले equation को identify करो. Identify the equation. What type of graph will it show? It's a quadratic equation, so it's supposed to have parabola. Parabola can go upward or it can go downwards, depending on the sign of A. A is what? Coefficient of x square. So here, if A is negative, then it will be downwards. Downwards means what? It will have maxima. It will have maximum value. It will have maximum value because minimum तो ये कितना भी जा सकता है ना. Understand, minimum, see these two arrows, it can go up to, it will go up to what? Minus infinite. So because graph is downwards, it will have maximum. Okay, and maximum will be at a value of x which is maxima. Okay, so यहाँ पे again word, यहाँ पे आपको क्या मिलेगा? This point is maxima minima. This point is also called what? Vertex. So again we can talk about vertex, and the coordinate of x at vertex, coordinate of x at vertex can be defined as minus b upon 2a. So let's talk about this. So what is minus b here? Compare this quadratic function with general form of quadratic ax square plus bx plus c. Yeah. So b is what? Minus 12. So I will say this is minus of minus 12. Divide by 2a. So 2 into minus 3. Okay. So here what we have 6 by, sorry, 12 by minus 6. This is 2. So this will get you what? Minus 2. Clear again? Okay. Now this x at vertex is also what? Minima. So you got minima here. The value of x for that function is minima for which the function will show. Sorry, ये minima नहीं maxima होगा यार. Maxima. My bad. Maxima होगा ना ऊपर. Maxima. ये हो गया आपका maxima. All right. Now, what will be maximum? Maximum is value of function. Maximum is value of function. So, for maximum हम लोग क्या करेंगे? We'll substitute f of minus 2. इतना चाहिए देखो, बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं है. Now, if you understand this, you don't have to write this in exam. आप directly step number 1 ये लिखेंगे, इसको simplify कर लेंगे. Then substitute करेंगे, step number 3 लिखेंगे to find identify maximum. If it is asked in question में maximum नहीं पूछा है तो you don't have to find out f of minus 2. अगर मैक्सिमा ही पूछा है तो यू गॉट एक्स का वैल्यू विच इज व्हाट -2. ओके. इफ क्वेश्चन सेड फाइंड मैक्सिमम तो आपको ये -2 सब्स्टिट्यूट करना है फंक्शन में एंड देन यू विल गेट व्हाट -3 इंटू -2 स्क्वायर -12 इंटू -2 +7. Okay. Simplify this further. You will get -3 -2 square is 4 +4. So 4 2s are 4 3s are 12. So this will be -12. माइनस ऑफ माइनस ये हो जाएगा +24 एंड ये हो गया आपका +7. सो नाउ हियर यू हैव +12. दिस विल गेट यू +12 and +7 is nothing but 19 +19. So f of -2 you get 19. So what is minimum? Minimum फिर से लिख देते हैं मैक्स सॉरी यहाँ मैक्सिमम है. मैक्सिमा is -2 and maximum is 19. So see, we don't have to plot any graph or anything. If you understand the characteristics of the graph, it's very easy for us to define maximum होना चाहिए कि minimum होना चाहिए, right? And for that, graph chapter is very important. So please go through the chapter of graph. I hope you're understanding the application now. Graph chapter does not have, but you rarely find graph ka question directly coming into the exam, but its applications are vast. So you may have some other chapter which has application of graph. तो graph को अच्छे से समझना है हमें. चलो फिर से करते हैं. Here, now look at this. H of x here we need to find again maxima or minima. Question is find maxima or minima. कर लोगे? कर लोगे ये? बताओ maxima मिलेगा या minima? Here again you will compare this with general form of quadratic ax square plus bx plus c and you will say okay यहाँ पे क्या है? A is positive and for A positive the graph is supposed to be upward and if graph is upward you will have minima. You will have what? Minimum value of the graph. You can get minimum value of the graph and for minimum value you will have minima as well. Okay. और ये point होगा क्या? This point is also called vertex. This point is called vertex for parabola. So vertex पे again value of x, the coordinate of x will be what? -b upon 2a. कंपेयर कर लो -b क्या होगा यहाँ पे? -b क्या होगा? So 5 is b, it will be -5 divided by 2a. a तो 1 है यहाँ पे, तो this will be just -5/2. Okay, so you got minima. This is what? Minima. Guys, don't get confused. Huh? People, I've seen some students marking value of x as minimum. मिनिमम नहीं होता है. देखो समझो, मिनिमा अलग है, मिनिमम अलग है. मिनिमा इज वैल्यू ऑफ एक्स, minimum is value of y or value of the function. Okay, so if you want to find out minimum, you can substitute -5/2 in this function and then get the value of h of -5/2. Okay, as we have done in the previous question. अच्छा, यहाँ पे g of x था ना, ये f क्यों लिख रहा हूँ मैं? चलो चलो g लिख देता हूँ. अरे कलर भी सेम कर देते हैं. g. Okay, happy. So here it's only about finding minimum. So we got minimum. sorry, it's question only about finding maxima or minima. We got maxima, sorry, minima. What's wrong? Okay, we only got minima here, which is -5/2. Clear? चलो अगला क्वेश्चन देख लेते हैं क्विकली. So here we got another one. अब यहाँ पे क्या करते हैं हम लोग, यहाँ पे क्वेश्चन को ऐसा फॉर्म कर देते हैं, लेट्स फाइंड मिनिमम or maximum of the function or maximum of the function. Okay, so for that, first we need to find out minima or maxima. So to understand whether the graph will show minima or maxima, we need to understand the characteristics of the function. So function क्या है? Function is a quadratic equation. Quadratic equation का again your graph is parabola. So it will show minimum for a positive and it will show maximum for a नेगेटिव. ठीक है, तो ये ए नेगेटिव है यहाँ पे. क्लियर? नेगेटिव है, राइट. तो ये क्या दिखाएगा? ये दिखाएगा आपका, इट विल शो मैक्सिमम. सो देयर इज नो मिनिमा फॉर दिस क्वेश्चन, इट विल बी मैक्सिमम. देयर इज नो मिनिमा, इट विल बी मैक्सिमा, एंड फॉर मैक्सिमा इट विल बी मैक्सिमम. ठीक है, यू कैन डायरेक्टली फाइंड मैक्सिमम. उसके पहले आपको क्या करना होगा? मैक्सिमा फाइंड करना होगा. यू नीड टू फाइंड मैक्सिमा. मैक्सिमा इज व्हाट? वैल्यू ऑफ x at this point, which is also called vertex. In the definition of parabola, this point is called vertex. Okay, so x क्या हो जाएगा? Again, -b/2a. Simplify करो, minus of, compare करके, so you got minus of +3 divided by 2a, so 2 into -0.5. -0.5 is -half. So half के 2 से ये 2 cancel हो जाएगा, so you will have only -3/-1. Okay, simplify करोगे, माइनस कैंसिल कर दो, you get what? 3. So maxima is what? 3. Maxima है 3. हाँ, अब maximum निकाल लेते हैं. Maximum निकाल लेते हैं. That will be P of 3. That is -0.5 into 3 square plus 3 into 3 plus 2. Simple है, substitute करना है सिर्फ. Now this is 3 square is 9. 9 का 0.5 is half. 9 का half is what? 4.5, which is with negative sign. +9 +2, ये आपका देगा क्या? प्लस का 4.5 and +2, that is 6.5. Okay, this is your maximum. क्लियर है? लिख दे इसको फिर से अच्छे से व्यवस्थित, नीट एंड क्लीन. तो योर मैक्सिमा is 3 and maximum is 6.5 for this particular question. Okay, easy है. चलो एक और करके दिखाओ, ये करके दिखाओ. Pause this video and now you try this. You try this. So I hope you understood in the quadratic function, if you want to find out maxima or minima, there is no relation or there is no need of finding the roots and then simplifying this. There is no need. हमें इसमें, because it is quadratic equation, quadratic function, we already know that the graph will be parabola and we need to focus on finding the vertex. First, once we identify, okay, parabola will be upward, then we can say the vertex, the value of vertex which will have will be minimum. It will be minimum. It will be minimum. Yeah, because the graph is going upward. Okay. How do you know? Because A is positive here. All right. So, chalo, let's find out. So first we identified whether it is maxima or minima. It will be minima because you have minimum point in the graph. Okay. So minima nikalte hain. So to find minima, x is again what? -b/2a. So यहाँ पे b क्या है? 1. A क्या है? 1. So -half. This is minima. Minimum क्या होगा? मिनिमम क्या होगा? क्यू ऑफ माइनस हाफ। पहले मैंने क्या इसलिए कहा, हाँ पी बराबर है, हाँ सही, ठीक करा। दिस इज व्हाट गिवन इक्वेशन, सो दिस इज माइनस हाफ स्क्वायर प्लस minus half here plus 1. Simplify this. Minus half square. So 1 by 2 का square 1 by 4. And the minus sign will be out because we are squaring this term, right? Square of negative is positive. So you have 1 by 4 here. You have minus का 1 by 2. And then you have 1. Okay? Simplify करो. इसको ऐसा लिख दूं क्या मैं? 0.25, 0.5 and 1. It will be easy. ये आपको कितना रहेगा? प्लस का 0.5 और ये प्लस का 0.25. This will be प्लस का 0.75. This is q of minus half, and this is also what? As we said, minimum. Yeah, so quadratic function का maximum minima तो clear होगा, है ना? Easy है, easy है, easy है. अब थोड़ा सा हम इसको कॉम्प्लिकेट करते हैं, थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट बनाते हैं. ऐसा अगर हुआ तो क्या होगा? ऐसा अगर हुआ तो क्या होगा? यहाँ तो क्वेश्चन में लिख दिया है कि फाइंड मैक्सिमम. अगर मैं क्वेश्चन को थोड़ा मॉडिफाई करूँ और बोलूँ आपसे कि मान लो कि ऐसा नहीं दिया है, मान लो that it is like this: find maxima or maximum or minimum value of given function. Okay, given expression. इसको आप अपने श्रद्धा भक्ति से you can say this is f of x. Okay, with your wish you can say this is f of x. बोलना ही पड़ेगा ना, और f of x बोले या y बोले, कुछ तो बोलना पड़ेगा ना. This is equal to something, right? So because minimum और maximum ये तो इसका होगा ना, which is nothing but equal to the expression. Okay, so expression का minimum maximum. So you have to tell me first, pause this video and you have to tell me first, ये expression आपको maximum देगा या minimum देगा? सोचो, maximum देगा या minimum देगा? Now you got fraction, understand? 1 upon the expression is a fraction. अब ये fraction है, where numerator is constant and denominator has variable. Okay, so only values which can change, it will change in denominator, right? एक तो ये समझ में आना चाहिए. अब ये जो denominator वाला expression है, which is x square minus 2x plus 4, it's a quadratic expression, correct? और इस quadratic expression का एक characteristics है कि यहाँ पे जो coefficient of x square है, which if you compare with ax square plus bx plus c, so if I say the value of a is positive here, the value of a is positive here. So this quadratic expression will show parabola like definitely this way, which will have minimum value, which will have what? Minimum value possible. इसका maximum value possible नहीं है, minimum value possible, right? So अगर इसका minimum value define कर सकते हो, maximum value तो define होगा ही नहीं, because it is going upward, it can go up till minus plus infinite, it will go up till plus infinite, infinite तक जा सकता है. So minimum value define होगा. So to define or to have a defined range, you can define minimum value for this. So अगर denominator का, ध्यान से समझना, अगर denominator का आप minimum value लोगे, ध्यान से समझना, अगर denominator का आप minimum value लोगे, if you take minimum value of the denominator, if you take minimum value of the denominator, the fraction will show maximum value. Do you agree? If you take minimum value of the denominator, the fraction will have maximum value. Numerator इसका constant है, so there is no change in the numerator. आप ही बताओ यार, if I say 1 upon 2, 1 upon 3, 1 upon 4, if I keep increasing the denominator, the value of the overall, or the overall value will keep decreasing. The overall value of the function will keep decreasing. This is what? 0.5. This is what? 0.33. This is what? 0.25. And it will keep decreasing. ऐसा होगा ना? Correct? So if uh, denominator is लाइक दिस. सो अगेन फिर से मैं बोलता हूँ, यहाँ पे बहुत सारा अपने लॉजिक लगाना होगा. वी नीड टू अप्लाई लॉट ऑफ लॉजिक इन मैक्सिमा मिनिमा, और इवन in this entire algebra part, you need to understand the characteristics of the equation before you start solving this. So for this particular question, फिर से I'll pause this video and then look at the question. Tell me what is possible. Maxima possible या minimum possible है? Maximum possible या minimum possible है for this function? You will come to a conclusion that maximum possible. ऐसा क्यों? Because numerator is constant, denominator is variable. And this variable denominator is nothing but a quadratic expression which has a positive. Because it is a positive, it will be parabola like this. The parabola will have minimum value. Come to this. ये यहाँ तक कि ये once you reach to this conclusion, you come back to the same कि वेरिएबल का मिनिमम पॉसिबल है. दैट मीन्स फ्रैक्शन का मैक्सिमम पॉसिबल है. So we are going to find out what maximum value. Okay. So this is all Tam Tadram we have done just to understand इस एक्सप्रेशन का मिनिमम पॉसिबल है या मैक्सिमम पॉसिबल है. ओके. नाउ अब ये तो हमने बोल दिया दैट इज यू हैव दिस एक्सप्रेशन हैज maximum possible. Okay, a defined maximum, right? So let's find out defined maximum. So for defined maximum, again we'll have denominator को सब है ना, defined maximum for the entire expression will have defined minimum for the denominator. Defined minimum for the denominator. Okay. Defined minimum for the denominator. Let's say you want to say y or you want to say v, whichever, whatever you say. That is x square minus 2x plus 4. उसको separately ले लिया. So for defined value of defined maximum value of the entire fraction, I'm focusing on defined minimum value of the denominator. So basically, I'm finding minimum value of this expression. I'm trying to find minimum value of this function. Minimum value of this function. So for a minimum, we need to first find what? Minima. Remember? We need to first find minima. And because it is quadratic expression, which we are quite familiar with, we can easily do things for this question. We can easily do things for this question. The minima here will be x equal to minus b upon 2a. Here, minus of minus 2 divided by 2a. So 2 into 1. This is plus 2 by 2 is going to be 1. So minima is what? X, which is 1. Now for x is equal to 1, I can find out minimum. So minimum here, I will say this is substitute x equal to 1 in the given expression. You have 1 square, you have 2 into 1, you have 4 here. So this will get you what? Minus 2 plus 1, and then this. So plus 2, 1, this will be 3. Correct? Yeah. So minimum is what? 3 for the variable denominator. Yeah, for the denominator. ये denominator को जो हमने v assume किया है ना, इसका minimum value कितना है? 3. So because denominator का minimum value 3 है, so overall expression which is 1 upon x square minus 2x plus 4. Last point को ध्यान से सुनना. Because we have minimum value here of this expression as 3, that's why fraction will have maximum value which is 1 upon 3. Okay? Clear है? Clear है? Now, I will ask you one more question. This might confuse you a bit, but जितना आप अपने brain muscles को exercise करोगे ना, उतना आप smart बनोगे and you will take less time in solving the questions in exam. पूछूं? So यहाँ तक ठीक है? So the overall function show maximum value as 1 upon 3. Will have maximum value as 1 upon 3 because denominator का minimum value क्या है? 3. So overall maximum value कितना होगा? 1 upon 3. क्लियर है? डिनोमिनेटर मिनिमम, ओवरऑल फंक्शन इज मैक्सिमम। ओके, आपको मुझे ये बताना है कि ये जो x इज इक्वल टू 1 है, सुनना ध्यान से, आपको मुझे बताना है दिस x इज इक्वल टू 1 इज for this function f of x, this x is equal to 1, ये क्या है? ये क्या है? ये ओवरऑल फंक्शन के लिए, हाँ, नॉट फॉर द डिनोमिनेटर, ओवरऑल फंक्शन के लिए, इज दिस मैक्सिमा और इट इज मिनिमा? क्या है बताओ? क्या है बताओ? इज इट मैक्सिमा और मिनिमा? यहां तो हमने बोला है कि दिस इज, ये मिनिमा की तरफ है ना, बट ओवरऑल फंक्शन के लिए x इज इक्वल टू 1 क्या है? मैक्सिमा और मिनिमा। इट इज मैक्सिमा फॉर द एंटायर फंक्शन। गो विद द डेफिनेशन, देखो डेफिनेशन हमने क्या समझा, regardless of the equation given or anything. For maximum, x is maxima. For the function having showing maximum value, x will is called maxima. For the overall function showing maximum, the x will be called maxima. For the overall function maximum, the x is called maxima. Clear है ना? For the overall function minimum, the x will be called minima. Or for x minima, the function value will be called minimum. Okay, ये रिलेशन अपना क्लियर होना चाहिए। दिस इज क्लियर, राइट? अब आप इस क्वेश्चन के बारे में समझो। इस क्वेश्चन ने क्या पाप किया है बताओ। Now here we are saying that okay, this 1/3 is maximum for x is equal to 1. फिर से बोलो, f of x is maximum for x is equal to 1. So x is equal to 1 for the function should be maxima. Okay. For the function it is maxima. If you look at only denominator, then x is equal to 1 kya hai? Minima. Okay. But in question, it's not asking you to treat a denominator differently. ये तो हमारा तरीका है ये सॉल्व करने। This is our method to solve. This is our understanding with the question that this is how the question should be approached. Okay. Question has this entire expression which we said f of x, assume the f of x, और यहाँ पे हमने assume किया f of x. So for this f of x, जो x is equal to 1 है, that will be maxima because for that the overall function is showing maximum. इस बात को गहराई से समझना, बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट बात बोल दी है मैंने। ओके, हालांकि अपना आंसर तो यहाँ पे आ गया 1/3, बट दिस यू शुड अंडरस्टैंड, डोंट बी कंफ्यूज्ड हियर। Okay, go through this entire solution for this question once again and think about it. Okay, let's take one more example. एक और example लेते हैं, weird सा example. So you will have any type of question of maximum minima. ऐसा कुछ defined नहीं है that you will have only quadratic expression. हाँ, you rarely get cubical or fourth order equation. Rarely get. Okay, even if it is, then we will solve that because we are going to solve previous year questions as well. So we'll solve that as well. अभी जितना मैंने सिलेबस में कवर किया है कॉन्सेप्ट बिल्डर के लिए, दैट इज गुड इनफ। दिस इज गुड इनफ। वी शुड नॉट गो बियॉन्ड दैट। बहुत रेयर आता है उसके बियॉन्ड, मतलब once in 10 years. So have patience. Focus on the learnings which we have. Okay, so find the maximum or minimum and or minimum. देखो ये तो बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट हो गया, and or मतलब there is a possibility that this function may have maximum limit also and minimum limit also. In which case you will not have maximum limit as well as minimum limit. If you have the function like this which has one side open, it's going up to infinite. So it will not have maximum. It will not have maximum. It will not have maximum, but it will definitely have minimum. Okay, for this graph, I'm saying. Okay, as far as this entire expression is concerned, we need to see कि ये and दोनों बता सकता है, इट कैन इट शो मैक्सिमम एज वेल एज मिनिमम, और इट कैन शो आइदर वन ऑफ देम. सो लेट्स अंडरस्टैंड. सो हाउ विल दिस क्वेश्चन बी अप्रोच? ये बड़ा स्पेशल क्वेश्चन है, ऐसा कुछ इसमें आपको जनरलाइज करने के लिए मिलेगा नहीं. सो व्हाट आई डू इज आई अज्यूम दिस इज इक्वल टू, लेट्स से, एक कांस्टेंट ले लेते हैं k. ओके, लेट्स से k. सो बेसिकली यू नीड टू फाइंड आउट k का मिनिमम वैल्यू और मैक्सिमम वैल्यू. ओके, सो k के ऊपर फोकस है हमारा, राइट. नाउ if you simplify it by substituting equal to k, if you simplify this, you can say यहाँ तक ठीक है ना. We need to find इस एक्सप्रेशन का मिनिमम और मैक्सिमम, एंड इफ आई सब्स्टिट्यूट दिस इक्वल टू k, if I say this is equal to k, if I assume this is equal to k, so I can also say that I want to find maximum or minimum of k. I need to find maximum or and minimum of k, ऐसा ही बोल सकते हैं. अब आपका ध्यान होना चाहिए k पे. Let's simplify this for k. Now let me cross multiply here. So I'll have x square, okay, minus x plus 1 equals to kx square plus x plus 1. Sorry, plus kx plus k. Okay. Now let me take uh, all of this at the same side and make it equal to 0. So I'll have what? Kx square minus x square. Kx square minus x square. You can eliminate, you can remove this step if you find this step unnecessary, because yes, that's unnecessary. Like, we don't need to write this step, but to explain all of you, I have to take care of all students here. So then here you have kx already, and then you got minus x square will become what? Sorry, minus x become plus x. Then you have plus k here, and the plus 1 will become minus 1 here. Now what I'll do is I'll from the similar power term, I'll take that power common. That means from the first two term, let me take x square common. So I'll have k minus x, and then I have x square here. Similarly, here it will be k plus 1, and then I'll have x here. And then last one is what? K minus x, k minus 1. Okay. Now, see, this is nothing but a quadratic equation, isn't it? Because this is equal to 0. This is nothing but a quadratic equation. If you compare this with ax square plus bx plus c, then it's not wrong. This is quadratic equation, correct? Where a is k minus 1, b is k plus 1, and c is k minus 1. चलेगा? अब एक बात बताओ यार. This quadratic equation will, it has to have real value, a real value of x. Then only it will show what? A proper maximum or minimum. If it is not, if x is not defined, तो problem हो जाएगा ना. That means this particular equation should have real value. Okay, अभी k को हम लोग थोड़ा ध्यान से निकाल के, we will only talk about this equation, that this equation has to have real value. Real value नहीं है तो problem है. Because if x is imaginary, then what can we say about minimum or maximum? X has real, and it can be real here. If you take care of k properly, how will you take care of k? To have x, to have real value for x, the discriminant for this particular equation should be what? More than equal to 0. Connect dots. We are going to nature of quadratic equation, nature of roots for quadratic equation. Okay, that's why you should follow that series of chapter. Do not jump to next chapter before completing the previous one, because there are some link between the chapters when you talk about the same module. Algebra का एक module है तो उसमें link मिलेगा आपको. Okay, so this is discriminant is more than equal to 0, then x will have real values, right? This equation will show real roots. So to do so, I can say this is possible only when b square minus 4ac is more than equal to 0. चलो substitute कर दो. b square क्या होगा यहाँ पे? b is nothing but k plus 1. So let me say k plus 1 square minus 4 into a क्या है यहाँ पे? k minus 1. So this is k minus 1 C क्या है? Again k minus 1. So this is into again k minus 1. This should be more than equal to 0. ध्यान से समझना, बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग आउटकम आने वाला है. And this was one of the this has come in one of the previous year questions, so previous year paper, so important है और interesting भी है. So this proves that you get twisted question of the same concept. You don't have new concepts, but twisted question. So again, if you rely on a particular question, you are not. It will be difficult for you to clear the exam. Rely on concepts. Okay. Yeah. Simplify करते हैं. This is what k square plus 2k a plus b whole square, yeah, plus 1 minus this is 4 into what k minus 1 k minus 1. So k minus 1 whole square. This is k square minus 2k plus 1. ऐसा हो गया. More than equal to 0. Simplify further. This is k square plus 2k plus 1 and minus 4. If you multiply inside, you will get minus 4k square minus, okay, ये हो जाएगा plus 8k and minus 4 more than equal to 0. ठीक है यहाँ तक? Simplify further. I have here minus of 3k square and k कैसा दिखेगा? This is plus 10k और ये आपका हो गया कितना? Minus 3 more than equal to 0. Okay. What I do is I multiply minus 1 in both side. Multiply minus 1 both side. ऐसा क्यों कर रहा हूं मैं? मेरी मर्जी. अरे नहीं. This is just to get rid of this negative sign from k square so that it looks simple. Now we have entered into inequality here. ये कहाँ पहुंच गए हम लोग? Inequality में. अब inequality का कॉन्सेप्ट लगाओ. Inequality का कॉन्सेप्ट क्या लगाओगे? That if you multiply by negative number both sides, then the sign of inequality changes. So you have what? You have 3k square minus 10k plus 3. Now this will be less than equal to 0. ये कहाँ से लेके आए हम लोग? Inequality से. So देखो यार, we are studying maths, right? So the rule will be same. No matter if chapter name changes, the rule of maths, the universal rules will not change, right? Okay, it doesn't change. Okay. Now simplify. अभी इसका अब quadratic equation मैंने शॉर्टकट बताया. You can apply middle term spacing method. और अगर आपको मेरा शॉर्टकट याद है quadratic equation का, you can apply that. So I have 3 into 3 9. I'm not going to depth of detail of the shortcut because ये हमने डिस्कस कर चुका है बहुत सारे क्वेश्चन में. So do that. So 3 into 3 9. 9 को हम लोग क्या कर सकते हैं? How do we have two numbers which product is 9 and addition is plus sign है ना? Addition is 10. So it's 9 into 1. 9 plus 1 is 10. But you want minus 10. So for that it should be minus 9 and minus 1. Then you will get minus 10, right? That means the root should be what? My plus. Root should be what? Shortcut ध्यान रखो. जो shortcut में क्या बोलते हैं हम लोग? If you get minus 9 and minus 1 से अगर आपको minus 10 आने वाला है, if you're having minus 10 formed by minus 9 minus 1, then the root should be plus 9 and plus 1. Also, if you have the coefficient of a square term, which is 3 here, so it has to divide both. Okay, so you got what? 3 and 1 by 3, sorry, 1 by 3 as roots for this particular equation, not inequality, equation. पहले equation का roots निकालते हैं. ओके, नाउ यहाँ पे वेरिएबल कौन है? अब कांस्टेंट क्या है? जो भी है, मतलब एक अल्फाबेट क्या है? के. We have assumed that to be, that is supposed to be variable, na? Because it is expressing another expression which is in variable form. So k is supposed to be variable here. So roots, that means value of k here is 3 and 1 by 3. Now apply the concept of inequality. फिर से inequality में चलते हैं. Inequality में हमने यस क्वाड्रेटिक इक्वेशन का इनइक्वालिटी हमने पढ़ा था. बहुत अच्छे से डिटेल में पढ़ा था. एंड देन वी हैव कम टू दिस कंक्लूजन दैट if the expression is less than 0, then the x is more than smaller roots and less than greater roots. Okay, keep this in mind and come to this question. So for k, I can say k should be more than the smaller root, which is 1 by 3. Now, in question, we also have equal to sign. So this inequality will also have equal to sign muft, because it is part of the equation, right? Part of the inequality. And less than equal to 3. ये कहाँ से आया हमारा? Inequality के concept से. So if you are done with the inequality concept, this will be easy for you to understand. If not, go through that, go through that, go through that. If the quadratic expression is less than 0, then the range of this variable should be between the roots. More than smaller root, smaller than greater root. Okay, ऐसा ही होता है. Okay. अब देखो आउटकम कितना ब्यूटीफुल आया. Now we have come to the end of this question solution. K has minimum value also. That K will go minimum up to 1 by 3. It's not up to infinite. So it's not, minimum value is not up to not defined. Infinite is what? Not defined. So K minimum value is not up to not defined. Or K maximum value is also not up to not defined. Both are defined. Minimum is also defined and maximum is also defined. That's why in the question they are very chalak, bro. Very chalak, bro. So that's why they have mentioned and or to confuse you. But यहाँ पे आपका क्या condition बन रहा है? N, because both of them are defined. Okay. So K value can go up to 3, including 3. So what we'll say, the minimum value of K is 1 upon 3 and maximum value of K is 3. K कौन है? K कौन है? K कौन है? K कौन है? Who is K? What is K? So K is the given expression, right? जिसका हमें minimum या maximum find करना था. Yeah. So K is nothing but the original expression which we have assumed to be K, which is what? X square क्या था? पढ़ लो. X square minus X plus 1. X square minus X plus 1 by X square plus X plus 1. This is how it will be. Okay. So here you have, this is minimum possible value for this expression, and this is maximum possible value for this expression. Minimum, not minima, minimum. And this is maximum possible value for this expression. आया समझ में? लास्ट वाला पॉइंट यहाँ पे कहानी में ट्विस्ट हो गया, राइट? ये तो यार इसको देखो, इसमें आई कांट एक्सप्लेन दिस फर्दर, आई डोंट वांट टू एक्सप्लेन दिस फर्दर. ये तो सिंपल है यार. के वी हैव अज्यूम दैट एक्सप्रेशन इक्वल टू के, जिसका हमें मिनिमम और मैक्सिमम निकालना है. तो के का जो मिनिमम और मैक्सिमम है वही उस एक्सप्रेशन का भी मिनिमम मैक्सिमम होना चाहिए. सो मिनिमम और मैक्सिमम, minimum and maximum for the given expression should be same as minimum or maximum of k, yeah, which is 1 by 3 and 3, right? Answer लिखना है. Okay, write the answer. What is the answer? Minimum value of given expression is 1 by 3 and maximum of given expression is 3. This is your answer. 3 and 1 by 3. ये आपका आंसर. Okay, and as I said, this question is taken from the previous year paper, so it is very important to understand. फिर से समझो, और ये क्वेश्चन पूरा आपको तभी समझ में आएगा when you understood this entire lecture from the beginning. Okay, quite overwhelming, right? Yeah, but I must say, if you're coming all the way from here, all the way from percentage till till here, कहाँ गया? Maxima minima. I must say, your dedication is appreciated, and keep this dedication alive till you go to the last chapter of the syllabus, and definitely you'll have a lot of knowledge and understanding to crack the exam. So this is it in today's lecture. My name is Shyam Manavat, signing off. I will see you in the next lecture. Till then, stay happy, stay healthy, and keep learning. Bye bye.